Hello, welcome back, and welcome back to me. It's been a minute since I've put myself in front of the camera. So I'm officially 1 month into my first travel therapy contract and my first job out of school. For some background, if you're new here, my name is Alana. I'm a physical therapist and I graduated from Washington University in St. Louis in May of 2021. It's now August and I decided to do travel therapy straight out of school. I'm working in a hospital, so I am doing acute care PT in Shreveport, Louisiana, and I like it a lot. I'm learning a lot, and there are some things that have been a little bit of a learning curve, so I wanted to share what those were in case you're going on clinicals, and just some things that I wish I had worked on a little bit more while I was on my hospital rotation. So yeah, let's get into it. Starting with the things that have been difficult for me, documentation. Writing my notes quickly has always been a struggle of mine on clinical because I'm trying to say everything that I need to from a legal standpoint to cover myself and then be thorough about what we did and then say enough for the next person who comes along to treat them and then say enough so that I remember the patient if something changes with their hospital stay, and then you have to do it in a reasonable amount of time so that you can move on and see the next person. So it's just a lot. It's a lot to put in there and then I get distracted. So what I've been doing to work on this is two main things. When I leave their room, I write down everything I remember about what we did so that it's out of my brain on paper for when I go type my note later. And the second thing I've been doing is asking patients little details about their life and kind of getting an idea of who they are as a person. For example, I had this one guy who breeds puppies. That's pretty memorable to me. So now I know exactly who he is and it makes it easier. If he were to come back to the hospital, I'm pretty sure I won't forget that. Also, this is really great for building rapport because if patients can tell that you care about them, you'll get more out of them and you'll push them to more of their potential and help them get better faster. Speaking of the little details, that leads really well into the second thing that I'm working on is getting out of rooms faster, because I could ask patients about the little details all day long, but the reality is I have other people I need to go see. So I've been working on an exit strategy so that I can leave and go see them. So what I've been saying is to ask them, hey, is there anything I can tell your nurse for you? After the session, I'm gonna go talk to the nurse anyway about how it went, how their patient did, are they safe to get up, does someone need to be there with them, things like that. The next two things are things I wish I had done a little bit more of on clinical. First is talking to doctors and nurses. You just talk to them. I was so anxious about this on clinical, but you guys are all a team, so just convey any concerns that you have, let them know anything about how the session went, and don't be afraid to ask for clarification. Just the other day, a nurse told me, you can work with him, but protect the Murphy drip at all costs. And I was like, what's a Murphy drip? And she told me and I was like, great, now I can protect it now that I know what it is. The next thing I wish I had practiced a little bit more on clinical is planning my day. So in an outpatient setting, you have a set schedule, you know who's coming into the clinic and when. And in acute care, you just have a list of people and you decide when to go to their rooms. Having done it a bunch of times now, I have the hang of it, but it was kind of stressful at first. So I just wish I had done that a little bit more with my CI and had her ask me okay, how did that go? Did you plan your day in a way that made it efficient, effective, and made your life easy, honestly, because you don't want to be running all over the hospital. This next thing isn't necessarily something that I've struggled with or that I wish I had done more of, but it has been so incredibly helpful, and that is reflection. So I've always been kind of a reflective person. I like to journal, I like to set goals, things like that. But on my second clinical, my CI had me fill out this really detailed reflection sheet. So I brought a little bit of that forward with me to this point. But every day I try to come home and write down 3 things I did well and 3 things I want to improve on or try the next day. It kind of helps me separate the days, and otherwise I feel I'm not learning anything. I feel the days just blend together, and if you're not learning, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying. Isn't that the saying? Something like that. I definitely recommend this. It's super simple. It takes less than 3 minutes probably. Just write down 3 things you did well and 3 things to improve on, and that will help you kind of stay on track. This last thing I'm only including because I think it's kind of funny. I'm in the South. I'm in Louisiana. I did not grow up in the South. I did not grow up hearing yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. And I didn't know what to do with that at first. It made me very uncomfortable, to be totally honest. Whenever I heard ma'am and sir used growing up, it was not something you would say to someone directly as a respectful thing. It was like sassy, snide, kind of like behind the back comment. But when people say it here, they'll say it kind of as a way to convey like understanding, like, yes, that makes sense. Yes, ma'am. So patients will say that to me and I'm like, okay. So that is all. Those are my 5 takeaways, plus my 1 Southern bonus takeaway from my first month doing travel therapy and working as a PT in a hospital. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. I hope you're learning and growing a lot. And I hope if you're a student on clinical, it's going really well. And I will see you next time. Bye.